It's Sligo, 1 goal and 14 points. Galway, 16 points.
You got to give Sligo credit. You know, they scored some great points. You know, they showed a lot of heart, and they're deserved in the final. And we have to go in and look forward to next weekend.
We're delighted, but I mean, this is only a stepping stone to a kind of final, and this is the bottom line. So tomorrow morning we're back to work. There's a big game ahead, and I'm sure it's coming away to the long rest there for the last while. So we're going to talk to the boys now and just bring this back down to earth.
Well, understandably, Kevin Walsh doesn't want to let the hype get to them, but it was a fantastic night for Sligo.
It was a terrific game of football. Both sides obviously contributed to it, but I would say best game in the province, one of the best games in the championship this year. Level 5 times as in atrocious conditions, you know, and the scoring rate really high, and loads of controversy as ever, which always adds to an evening fixture. The referees, the umpires, the players themselves, you know, the linesmen, everybody got in on the act. So the fans, you know, a big good crowd, 12,000 packed into Market's Park, lovely atmosphere for the evening. But it was a terrific game of football. Sligo deserved it because of the nature of their last few minutes. Like, they were 90 seconds to go, they were 2 points down. Okay, it wouldn't be looking good for Sligo in the olden days, but they're a team that their stated ambition is to be taken as a serious football team, and I think last night establishes their bona fides. You know, 2 points, levelled it. Now you say, well, they'll look for extra time. They didn't. They pushed on and got the winner deep into injury time. And the contribution of the subs, for me, copper fastens this idea that they're a serious team. They now can go to the bench and bring on guys that are making a contribution. I picked out a few of those. This is Stephen Cohen. He actually crashes this one off the crossbar. It's the rebound I want to concentrate on. With Adrian Martin, like, a lot of these guys either didn't start last week in the draw, or started and were taken off, didn't start this weekend, who were brought on, and they all started making contributions, which is extremely important. A lovely ball in by Eamon O'Hara. Nice little pick up by Marin again. He got 3 points on the night, 2 from play, and he nailed a crucial free. This guy was terrific, Mark Brennan, all day. But look who he gives it to, McGee. He's come on. He's not sulking all week about not getting his place. Swings it over, and now the comeback is on in earnest. Another terrific score here. Absolutely fantastic score. I think that was the equaliser. Now you'd think extra time was on the cards, but McGee is back again for one last shot. Now I think the 4,000 in the Turris sucked that one in over the bar. Galway weren't happy, but equally there was a point earlier on that was a bit iffy for Galway, and there was reference made to that. But in an overall sense, the nature of the last 4 or 5 minutes by Sligo, for me, established them as deserving winners, and established them now, you know, as a serious piece of kit.
All right, great win for Sligo, but again, big talking point here on the emails. Eamon O'Hara features prominently in them. What Eamon O'Hara did against Owen Concannon at Galway on Saturday was an absolute disgrace, says one. I'm sure the whole of Ireland saw O'Hara's horrible stamp on the Galway player yesterday. Will it get the same attention? I was a spectator at the match yesterday. How can 7 officials be on the pitch and not one of them spotted? It was one of a couple of incidents that people refer to. You've looked at them for us, Anthony.
Well, there's been a bit of niggle, I suppose, in the first game as well, and this is even before the game gets underway. You've Burke, I don't know what he's doing there. He's talking about letting your man know you're there, but he aims a knee at David Kelly. He laughs it off and shakes hands with him. But this one happened later on in the first half, involving Eamon O'Hara and Owen Concannon. The pictures don't look good. You know, it does appear as if Eamon O'Hara has dropped his boot onto Owen Concannon as he lays on the ground. I mean, it was unnecessary. It was very easy for Eamon O'Hara just to step out of the way, to tangle. And it was a cold, wet night, and you know, slippy enough conditions. Difficult for the match officials to pick that up, and even difficult, even with the benefit of the footage, to determine for sure whether or not that was a deliberate stamp. And really, maybe only Eamon O'Hara is the guy who can answer whether it was deliberate or not.
All right then. Well, next we go to the weekend's other football replay as Antrim hosted Kildare in the qualifiers. Reporting now from Casement Park is Siobhan Madigan.
A second-round encounter with Leitrim awaited the winners of this replay at Casement Park. Both sides were guilty of shooting some early wides before eventually the opening score came on 5 minutes through Antrim's Paddy Cunningham. Kildare were particularly rueful in Newbridge a week ago, kicking a total of 21 wides, and they were acutely aware that improvements would be needed. They did improve, they had their radar tweaked, and Johnny Doyle was to kick some fine scores in this game, including this, his first effort after 11 minutes. The game's only goal came midway through the opening half. Some good work here, Emmett Bolton and Brian Flanagan combining. Doyle did well on the edge of the small square, a nice turn and a cool finish for the Alan Wood man. And Kildare were to lead by 3 with 20 minutes on the watch. Paddy Cunningham, though, kept Antrim in touch with yet another free. But the niggle that marred last week's game seemed to still be evident at Casement Park. Harsh words from Kieran McGeaney saw Kildare up their tempo and dominate the second half. Dermot Early was redeployed at full forward and kicked this fine score in just the second minute. Kildare were to pick holes in the Antrim defence throughout the second period and kick their scores at will, despite the efforts of Anthony Tohill and Justin Crozier here. Ronan Sweeney picked out Eamon O'Callaghan for yet another point for the Lilies, leaving Liam Bradley and his selectors fairly what bemused. Kildare should have had a second goal here. Kavanagh and Callaghan set up Sweeney for this goal chance. In fairness, a good save by the Antrim keeper McCreevy. Antrim were to rarely challenge in the second half and bowed out in somewhat tame fashion in the end. Kildare midfielder Darrell Flynn waltzed through. He could have had more but took the point with the fists. Kildare ran out 9-point winners in the end of this game in what was a niggly encounter yet again in West Belfast.
We were jittery in the first half again. A few things not sort of going, like we were a wee bit flat maybe after the emotions of last week, but there was some great displays in our defence. Hugh McGrillet, Emma Bolton, Peter Kelly, like all sort of Henry McLaughlin, they've done very well in there. Like just maybe in the first half we just weren't breaking out at enough pace. Like because Antrim attack with so many half backs, you feel like that you've everybody nearly in your own half back line when you're trying to tackle and get back. I know some people will call it a blanket defence, but it's you just want to stop the likes of Scullion and Lockley and Kelly and those boys. They're tidy on the ball, like so.
All right, Kevin, are Kildare going to be contenders?
Well, they're up and running again. This was a good win for them away from home. Last week we were saying that it would be difficult to go to Casement Park, but obviously this week they had a much better atmosphere in which to prepare for a major match, and it showed. They won by 9 points, very good victory. The big difference was Kildare generate an awful lot of scoring chances. It's their nature, but they're not great shooters. Last week they had 21 wides, this week they had 4. So straight away you're in trouble with Kildare if they bring their shooting boots with them. Good spread of scores, I would say. A job very well done. Yeah, they're definitely back in the championship, and the fade out from Louth could be a thing of the past. And they play Leitrim at home now in the next round. Yeah, it'll be roaring, raging hot favourites to win that one. Yeah. It's a great draw, no disrespect to Leitrim, but to get your next qualifier game at home. They've had the benefit now of 2 run-outs against Antrim, so they're back in business, and they were last 8 over the last 2 seasons. So they've been through the qualifier route before. They know how to rebuild their season, and I think I would say they're probably still a wee bit reliant on Johnny Doyle. I think he might have got 1-6 yesterday out of the total score, but certainly a much improved performance given their capitulation. They swapped early in. That was a big. They were able to swap Dermot early with Ronan Sweeney. They got 7 or 8 points when he went to full forward, and that's a nice little. Sweeney often I think moves. Absolutely, the big plus that they'll take from it is their defensive performance that kept Antrim scoring to 9 points. But Kevin, on top of that, there was also the Antrim thing. They were hyped a lot after last year, and I'm amazed they've fallen away so badly. Like I must have bought into the hype, obviously, but I thought they were going to do some serious stuff in Ulster. They got off to the early spring. They look great, but no, they've fallen away. They're no further down the road, really. Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. The qualifiers, of course, getting underway next weekend. Now, before we finish talking about football, Derry hosted Fela this week, Anthony. You were there on Friday for the start of it. I was. There's an absolutely magnificent experience. I'd never actually been at a Fela before and never really understood what it was about, but for the show that was put on in Derry over the weekend, I mean, the clubs, the organising committee, everything was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic to have it in Derry and to have it in Derry City. The parade on Friday night from Celtic Park right into the Guildhall in the city centre. Absolutely fantastic. Great experience for all the kids that were involved in it, and it's an absolute credit to the GAA that they're able to put on and organise a show like that. And it's a wonderful occasion, and I was just privileged to be at it. I should explain to those of you who don't follow it closely, it's a national under-14 competition for boys and girls. We had the hurling one in Ennis recently,
and there are different divisions, so you don't have to be the best team in your county to go and qualify and play in it. But Na Fianna from Dublin were impressive winners in the final. As you can see there, they beat Douglas of Cork by 3-10 to 1-3 in the final. So well done. Tony Davis' young lad actually was on that Douglas team. Division 2 victory went to Moy Davitts from Mayo, so well done to them. They beat Stradbally. Division 3, Monalina